Hey kids, it's Eglantine here with another edition of Marvel vs. DC. In this case, me and my brother talked, and since we split up the books and we're doing our own videos on this to make them shorter and more palatable, we decided to do away with the pretense of the scores at the end. We're still going to do 1 through 5 stars. It's just that, let's face it, DC always wins. So, we're going to just cut it down a touch and go with straight reviews. Hope you enjoy. The 1-star books are the worst of the worst and the ones that we recommend you avoid the most. American Way #1. Oh my Lord in heaven. Call James Dean because I found all of his causes right here in one book. This isn't even a soapbox. It's not like they said, hey, here's our cause and let me tell you what I think about it. Every page or two is a different far left Antifa stance, and they just touch upon it. They don't even talk about doing anything about it. It's just like, here it is. Look, cops are randomly shooting black guys with guns in their hands. Or over here we have drug use. Yep, don't forget immigration. I have to do a longer video on this one. This is the calling right now. I read it and I went, well, I've got to work out a way to do this full length. This is just one of those books that call to you. It is so misguided. It's bad in such an amazing way. Secret Warriors #4. Now, when I read Moon Girl's own book, and she's written like a spoiled little brat who, I mean, it's just really bad there. I thought, okay, maybe in the right hands. Well, apparently they haven't found the right hands yet. This is a Moon Girl-centric story, and it's just horrible. In order to make her look good, you have to make everybody look bad. I mean, come on, she's a little girl. She takes out Deadpool with a kick to the nards. Do you know what happens when you kick a guy to the nards? We get about a few seconds worth of pain and then about a minute's worth of rage. So if you're not away from us really fast after you do that, you're about to get your ass whipped. And, oh my gosh, the Hyde says kill the dinosaur. She says, oh, I'll go with you, but he still didn't kill the dinosaur. Yeah, okay, I know they've got to keep the characters alive. But in order for her to look good, every other character had to be really stupid, and that's just bad writing. The 2-star books are merely bad with some saving grace from keeping them from being absolutely horrible. DC Supergirls Chapter 7, so the superhero girls are still on the lookout for their cartoonish counterparts to try to get them back into the art world that they have come from, and this book is entirely filler. I mean, that's it. You have Supergirl and Batgirl having an ice cream eating contest against their doppelgangers to see, who would go away. But they don't go away. Everything here is, I mean, there's nothing to this story. I want to say there was, but sorry, there just isn't. Nothing forwards it. Nothing brings it to the front. Okay, wait, no. They find Harley Quinn, our Harley Quinn, the real Harley Quinn, and say that she needs to draw something that can come out of the art and stop the cartoonish versions of them. That's the only bit, and that's the last few frames at the end. Otherwise, no, this one wasn't good, guys. You could actually skip over this chapter to the next one and hardly miss a thing. Generation X #4. So, this always feels to me like the X books nobody asked for, really. We have a vampiric Jubilee. That was a bad idea. Sitting around with, who was it? Danny Moonstar. And they're just talking. They find out that a whole bunch of students went rogue. They went off on their own. And then we cut to the students, and it turns out they're on the hunt for somebody. They find them. There's a fight. And it's about as dull and boring as I'm making it out to be. There's a little bit interesting to do with a mutant whose mutation caused their skin to be silver and they don't look human anymore. And it shows how this person is dealing with it. And I like that a lot more than just the random fight in a cave that took up most of this book. Overall, as I said before, it's the book nobody asked for. It's basically forgettable. So Jean Grey continues her walkabout around the Marvel Universe, trying to find experience and warrior-like abilities to fight the Phoenix. And does anybody get a feeling of dread that the Phoenix is coming? I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, I had this vision. I don't know if she's coming or not. And now she's going around trying to find ways to fight it, and we haven't even confirmed if it's coming. So, okay, let's assume the Phoenix is coming for her. And now, once again, I feel no sense of dread that she's about to face this huge obstacle. Also, I do get the feeling that the Marvel company has no real confidence in Jean Grey as a character, because she just started her issue, and every issue out has been dominated by other characters. The Wrecking Crew, Namor, Thor. So whenever we get to see Jean Grey head her own book, maybe I'll be a little more confident in her ability to carry it. Spider-Man 2 is an exercise in nostalgia for 3 days ago. I mean, this storyline wasn't even that long ago, and they're trying to ride the coattails. Marvel is in desperate situations right now, I guess. So, this is not a story at all. I wish it was. There's a climactic ending. There's a little, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next at the ending? But really, all it ends up being is a series of vignettes. So you don't really care about the story because there's none to care about. It introduces the characters. And Miles has the whole, well, why is Peter Parker treating me this way thing? But overall, it's just, oh my gosh, this is dead on arrival, guys. I wanted it to be better. But in the end, without a hook or without just something to grab onto, even Miles Morales is uninteresting in this. It just ends up being a bad, bad book. You may like the 3-star books, you may hate them. For us, it just didn't register any emotion whatsoever. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 12. So, the Calculator's family is being held hostage in his office building. Turns out there's an evil corporation, shock surprise, and they need Catwoman to give something that she stole from the company in order to get the family of the Calculator back. So they go see her and convince her to do that, and then it's kind of a heist film of sorts to save the kidnapped family. Overall, this book just didn't register with me. Wasn't bad, and if you're a Batgirl and Birds of Prey fan, you're probably going to enjoy it a lot more than I did, but I just thought, this could have been so much better. In the end, I did like the bits with Poison Ivy. She shows up towards the end, especially the scenes between her and Catwoman. Otherwise, it's definitely middle-of-the-road blandness. Dark Days, the casting. Now, the first chapter, what was it, Forging or something like that? But I thought that was intense. I liked that book a lot. It was very well done. Very, I said it was tense already, but it built it up throughout the story. While it was giving you information, it was also giving you a tone. It was giving you a mood to follow, to get into. This book here is just one big information dump. I mean, it's just page after page after page of not dialogue, but exposition. It's kind of like the Kill Bill Volume 1, Volume 2, except for Volume 2 of Kill Bill was actually interesting. And this, oh my Lord in heaven, I just wanted something to happen, something that seems to move the story forward instead of just telling you where we are right now. Overall, there was enough to keep it from being bad, but just not enough to make it good. So far, the Defenders has just been a big bag of almost. It's almost good. You know, the writing is almost there. I think Bendis lost a long time ago. It's time to retire Bendis. Or at least put him in the corner, let him rest a while, maybe he'll come up with some ideas. Now, the book actually begins pretty strongly, and it ends pretty strongly. I love this cover. This is one of my favorite kids. This is my favorite Marvel cover of the week. But overall, the book just dies on the vine right in the middle, where they stop everything to show the people on the street are talking about Diamondback and Luke Cage. It's like nobody else in the city has anything to do but talk about Diamondback and Luke Cage, and it ends up just stopping the story dead. And that's just a huge problem. I love the ending, and it's got a great final panel that we've seen before in other places. I don't know what to say, kids. It seems like I'm getting all of the wordy exposition books. I've paid attention and read through this, and there is exactly, well, not, I can't say exactly, but it seems like there's about maybe 3 or 4 pages of actual story and tons of exposition. I'm sorry, maybe it's just me this week. I don't know. It's not bad, and it's setting up Azrael and the oncoming metal story that's coming up, the oncoming that's coming up, And, I mean, it's good to see Zatanna, and the art is just amazing in this. It really does create a mood, but my God, if somebody talked to you this much, you would tell them, please just move away. Let me decompress for a moment. And, I mean, other than just this, the yep, nothing happens in this book. Oy vey. Well, we'll see what happens next issue. Scooby-Doo Apocalypse number 15. And this is basically Velma has accidentally turned the world into monsters. And in this case, they're trying to save a little boy from a horde of monsters that's being led by Scrappy-Doo. Which, hey, good twist. And it is entertaining. I like the fact that Scrappy-Doo is on 2 legs like he was in the cartoon. Of course, he's got a 6-pack. Go figure. And, it's really just a basic story, but they all have been that way. They fight the monsters, get out of the forest, and then realize, oh my gosh, we got to go back into the forest because they realize the monsters have been acting in unison sometimes. It's entertaining. I've been enjoying this series so far, but don't expect anything too deep. Weapon X number 5. So while I've been enjoying the Weapons of Mutant Destruction storyline, they haven't been the greatest books, but at least they've been entertaining. This one, man, I'm such a negative Nelly this week, but this one was not. It was basically, this is where you jump on if you haven't already jumped on. Basically, that's what this is. It's a whole bunch of reiteration and planning. It's a whole bunch of exposition without a lot of story. So, really, yeah, that's the best way to describe this book. It's the perfect jumping on spot because it's going to tell you what has already happened plus what they're planning for the next few issues. There is action scenes in it, but they're inconsequential. Amadeus Cho is amazingly annoying, and they seem to forget that the older heroes have all been doing this for a long time now because they have Amadeus Cho not only leading, but doing so in such an arrogant manner you want to smack them. Wonder Woman number 26 is a decent book that is held back and in some ways made worse by a horrible beginning. And that is that it tries to take a stance on terrorism, but it gets wrong who is committing the acts of terror, and I don't think that they're being brave by saying anything about terrorism if they're not actually painting the picture of what's happening correctly. The rest of the book is a character issue, and it does very well in drawing out strong characters. That part is fine. I have no issue with this. It's just if you're going to stand up on a soapbox and preach, then preach the facts. Not what you want them to be, but what they actually are. Overall, the book falls flat because of its attempt to be brave, but its cowardice in the face of reality. The 4-star books are good. They're recommendable. There's just something about them we say, hey, you should check this out. Action Comics number 983, the revenge storyline continues. This time, Superman Blinded is joined by his allies, Supergirl, Steel, Lex Luthor, Superman from China, and who am I? Oh, Superwoman. So yeah, they basically, this is a big ass brawl, and America's dog shows up on the cover right here. So that's where she was during the road trip, guys. If you're wondering where she was in space with Superman on the cover of Action Comics 983. It's an exciting read. There's one point where Zod just goes bonkers, and the book just shifts gears and excels. It isn't as good as the Superman books are just because it focuses on the fighting and the battle rather than the characters on this. However, there is some characterization in it. There is progression. But overall, I can recommend it. I'm not saying that. It is a fun book to read. Amazing Spider-Man 30. I have to give credit where credit is due. It does the Secret Empire right. Now, a lot of books have come on to the Secret Empire, and they really tied it right into the storyline, but they've done it late, so it's like the book itself is catching up. Amazing Spider-Man does that in a way as well, but it tells a more personal story, so it seems like it's also separated from the main story, because this, even though this is where Spider-Man's dealing with the fact that Hydra has taken over, it immediately gets past that and it becomes about Dr. Octopus trying to take over Parker Industries. I'm fine with that. I don't think Parker should have an Industries anyway. That being said, I've got to say it's a very tense and exciting issue. It's got a little toss-away scene where the Beast is kowtowing to the Hydra Cap, which I think the X-Men should be all over his ass and beating the crap out of him. I don't understand all these superheroes who used to be for something are now just standing down because it's Captain America. I don't get that. That is bad writing. But once you get past that, the book is actually pretty decent. Bug, The Adventures of Forager, number 3. This is really shaping up to be a series. I'm not saying it's perfect or, I don't exactly know where I would rate this just yet. Maybe by the end of the interview. However, it is becoming a Lord of the Rings style story in the fact that maybe not Lord of the Rings, maybe like Wizard of Oz or Bone by Jeff Smith, where they're on a journey and they just keep picking up more and more odd and strange characters along the way, each going a little bit for the same thing and yet still having their own agenda. It's fun, it's intelligently written, but it is also a little bit out there. You really have to pay attention. You can't casually read this one. Overall, yeah, I'd say it was good. I mean, at least good enough for me to extend the review out here to make sure I get the point across. The art is almost Kirby-esque, and yeah, it's just a fun and entertaining story. But in the end, it might also be better to be picked up as a trade rather than individual issues. The Flash number 26, Running Scared. We have the Flash and the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, and Iris West in the future in the Flash Museum, and they observe as future Flash and Iris have two speedster kids that are now destroying Central City. Basically because they find out that Barry Allen was a horrible father who was always off saving the world and not paying attention to his own kids. It's an interesting take on the story. We've never seen this kind of thing. Anytime they ever went into the future, it was all sunshine and roses. So I kind of like watching this take, seeing where they go with it. It's definitely a different story. Never seen this one before, and it shows Iris and Barry Allen trying to be a couple at some point as well, and that to me is always good. Quick and to the point, exciting in some areas. It's I like the Injustice 2 so far. I really am hoping I'm not spoiling the story for the game, though. I haven't played it yet. So in this one, we have Green Arrow and Black Canary's wedding being interrupted by, I guess, this version of the Suicide Squad. And at the same time, Bruce Wayne is attacked at Alfred's grave site. It's basically one big-ass brawl. There's not very much in the way of characterization. However, at least it's fun. And that is something that this week seems to be sorely missing. And, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to see not just action scenes. It's cool to see the villains look competent for once, because that is also something that's missing a lot in modern-day comic books. Old Man Logan number 26. I got to admit, doing these are sometimes hard, because you want to figure out what do you want to say about the book, and do you touch on the themes, or you just get the overall feel for what you felt about the book. In this case, I just want to go, cool. I mean, this book was cool, and leave it at that. But that tells you nothing about it. However, what went on in this book, we have basically Maestro and his Hulks attack an army base, and they take a whole bunch of weapons because they know that there's a war coming on the Hulks, and Logan is after him. So Maestro says, hey, I want you to go get Wolverine and kill him. Well, Logan, that's what they're calling him. And that's basically it. I mean, this could be, the whole plot is the same as what a 1980s cartoon would have been back in the day. It's very simple, but it's very good, and it's fun, it's tense, and some great action scenes. Titans number 13. Now, these are my Titans. These are the ones I grew up with, except for, I don't know why they put Speedy in a douche hat. You know, the trucker hat needs to go. It was a bad idea in the New 52, and it still is. Anywho, in this one, basically, Wally West is having heart trouble every time he uses his speed, so everybody's cautioning him away from that. And they're trying to save Bumblebee from Hive. Unfortunately, the Hive knew that they were coming, so they realized that there is a traitor in their midst. The book's action-packed. It's got a decent story to it, and the art's pretty good. I mean, this is a strong comic book. And the best thing is there's no but. You know, a lot of people, oh, this is a strong comic book, but it causes herpes. You know, but that's not in this. This is just one I would definitely recommend getting. Titans is a pretty good book. Zombies Assemble, number 0. So I guess this is a prequel to, well, duh, obviously. It's a prequel to Zombies Assemble. In this case, it's talking about, it's very much a lot of hero worship for Iron Man. People, of course, also talking about retiring. Pepper Potts wants him to settle down for marriage. It's very much setting up the character of Iron Man in this zombie apocalypse world. And this is, it's got some action, but mostly it's story, and I was impressed with that because, you know, it seems to go either way this week, where it's either all exposition or it's all action. In this case, there tends to be a fine balance between the two, where you're getting enough story and character to care about what happens, and then you're getting a lot that happens. It's a pretty solid book so far. And the 5 stars are the best of the best, and they completely achieve what they set out to do. Have you ever noticed that when you're reading a bad book, it just seems to take forever? And then when you read a good book, it just goes by so quick. This one went by really quick. Red Hood and the Outlaws number 12 is definitely a pickup. Now, it's not exactly the beginning of the story, but it's definitely going to leave an emotional impact, and it will definitely make you want to pick up the next issue. And you know what? That is exactly, actually it says right here, Life of Bizarro number 1. So, hey, okay. Maybe it is a good place to jump on. Either way, it's a very good book. Very exciting, very easy read, breezy read. And like I said, it leaves an impact. It's definitely worth the purchase. So there you go, kids. My review for, what is it, 7/12/2017. What'd you think? Were there any books you were on the fence about that I talked you into or maybe talked you out of? Let us know in the comments below. Or is there something where it's like, holy crap, you're wrong? I know Jack had a few comments like that, and that's okay. We never say we're fallible, and we love the conversation that starts. Also, what do you think about the new format, dropping the scores and everything? I mean, you know, come on, DC wins every week. Would you like us to bring back the scores, or are you cool with this? Let us know in the comments below. If you like videos like this and like the others we have on the channel, please hit share. Share again. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Also, if you do like what we do, please head on over to the Patreon page or VidMe and drop $1 in the till. There's going to be some patron-only content coming out. We'd like to thank those who already have done that, and to Eduardo Lopez, who drew our new profile picture. Thank you very much for doing that, and thank you very much for watching.
Well, come on down to Gorilla City. We got all the gorillas you need. We got Gorilla Grodd, Solivar, and Beppo the Super Monkey. We got Kong Gorilla and Buana Beast, every super-powered monkey.